Shanice Russell. My student code is SO105742. I'll be doing a presentation on how to be an effective coach. So what is a coach? A coach is someone who mentors and guides a group or a specific athlete to a goal or an improvement of a skill. This just means working closely with them to improve themselves as an athlete and them as in their specific sport. A coach is someone who just basically mentors someone to achieve a common goal. Skills and qualities of a coach. So communication is really important for a sports coach because they're going to be wanting to put the task across. This means they need to be able to communicate clear and effectively. This could affect the group's productivity because if they don't understand the task, they might have to run over and explain it over and over and over, which could affect the productivity and how much you get done in the session. The next thing is good organisation. Having good organisation allows you to plan and execute better, more productive sessions. This is because you'll be able to plan more effectively, so you know what you're doing in the session before the session has started. If you go into a session without knowing what you're doing that session, it could affect your productivity and how effective and good the session is. The next one is feedback. So it's good for a sports coach to be able to allow and understand and absorb constructive criticism and feedback, because this will allow the student to give the time to express if they think the session's going well or not. It's also good for the sports coach to give feedback to the sports athlete, because this will give them, say if they think their session's not really working for them, or if they're not progressing a lot, then this will be the time to just give each other feedback. Sports understanding and knowledge. Unless you specialise in a certain sport, you need to make sure that you have some sort of sports knowledge. This is because you could be working on many different sports. So for example, one person may come to you looking to improve their basketball skills, whereas one person may come to you to improve their strengths in football. And so you just need to have the balance of understanding a lot of knowledge on sports. Unless you are just a specific coach, then I'm sure you could just improve your knowledge on that sport. Responsibilities of a sports coach. So the first one is conduct a health and safety risk assessment. This is important because you could potentially be putting yourself and your students or athletes at risk. To do this risk assessment, you just need to make sure that the floors and the space that you're, like the environment you're in, are all clear. You also need to make sure that their outfits and their shoes and their equipment is all safe and good to use. The next one is to plan an effective session. As a sports coach, you need to make sure that you are reaching your goals and targets. This means you have to plan each session, making them as productive as possible. So sometimes you only have like 30 minutes to an hour with a student or athlete, so you need to make sure that you are doing as much as you can in that session and being as productive as you can. So the legal obligations. As a sports coach, you need to have a duty to safeguard all your students and athletes. This could include reporting if you think a child is in danger. So if you see a student or an athlete come to you for a session and they look like they're hurt or they're in danger or they're not in a safe environment outside of the sports sessions, then you have the obligation to report it. So yeah, just making sure that all students that come to you are safe and are being looked after. The responsibilities of a sports coach. As a sports coach, you need to make sure that you just the environment's safe, but also the students. So going on back onto what I said, to make sure they have the correct footwear, hair tied up, correct clothing, no jewellery or injuries and illness are brought to attention. These could potentially just reduce and decrease the chance of any more hazards. The qualifications of a sports coach. So you need to take a foundation degree, higher national diploma or degree in sports coaching and development, sports and exercise science, sports studies, physical education. So all of these will allow you to potentially become a sports coach. There are other ways, such as becoming a private coach, where you can get, I suppose, like an MVQ or just private courses you can do. But yeah, you also need like first aid and stuff like that, because you are going to be looking after someone else. So dress coach for a sports coach. On an everyday basis, sports coaches should wear like active wear, gym wear, which is suitable to be working with children, obviously. This could depend on the different sessions they're running. Say if you are running say cricket or stuff like that, you are going to need protective gear and stuff, or even football, you might need to wear shin pads and stuff like that. So it kind of depends on what sports you're running, but mainly it's going to be active wear. For an interview or an important meeting, they might wear a suit with black shoes. So say if you're told by your boss that you need to wear specific clothing, then you might have to do that sometimes, but mainly it's going to be active wear. Coaching type, so each coach has a different coaching style that suits them the best. This could differ from sports or group. So each athlete has a different way of taking in information and learning. So this is going to be different for everyone, but the two main ones are democratic and autocratic coaching. So autocratic is the style when the coach makes all those decisions and goes into the session knowing what they're doing, knowing that they're going to be doing this when, what time, and all this. Like they have everything directly planned out and made the decisions. Democratic coach is a leadership style that allows you to communicate with your students and make a collective decision to what task to do. So this allows you to sit down with your athlete and make a decision together. This could be good because it allows the student to have a say in what they think they need to improve and what they think they're already doing well. Learning styles. So students have a lot of different learning styles. Everyone learns differently, like I said. So visual is when people learn by seeing others do it. So this might mean doing an example of a student so they can visualise and see what they need to do. Auditory is when the learner learns best by listening to the teacher. Reading is when they learn best by reading it. So everyone learns differently. Planning the sessions. So we have the first one, which is the traditional technique approach. This means breaking down the game and learning one skill and one technique specifically. The next one is the game sense approach. So this session allows the students to use what they've learned and put it into a game situation. Choosing what session to plan depends on many factors, including what sports and how many players are participating. Say if you have one person, it's going to be very hard to perform like in a match situation because you just can't. It's going to be very difficult. But yeah, it just depends on many factors. Important steps to plan a session. So the first thing you need to do is evaluate the athlete, what they need to improve, what their goals are, what sports they're doing, and stuff like that. This also means their physical and mental state. So if they need more motivation than others, and if they need to work on more factors more. The next one is to use feedback from other sessions to understand where you've went wrong and what your strengths and weaknesses are and what you need to focus on in this session. The next step is to choose what type of session you're going to run. So is it going to be a democratic or an autocratic session? You also need to see then what kind of equipment you're going to use, what kind of tasks you're going to be doing. This might mean sitting down with your student and analysing what they need to improve on before the session. Elements of a sports session. So the first thing is a pre-practice briefing. So this means where you sit down with the athlete and tell them what you're going to be doing throughout the session, what you should be improving on, and stuff like that. This also allows you and the student to have a joint understanding on what you're going to be achieving. The warm-up is to allow to increase your body's temperature to increase and blood to flow more. This also consists of stretching to reduce the chances of injury. To do stretching the most effective, you can do things such as make sure each hold is like how each stretch is held for 15 to 20 seconds, specific to the sports, and being gentle, avoiding strain or discomfort. Stretching is important as it lowers the chance of being injured. This is very important because, like I said, you could be putting yourself, if you're acting out as well, or the student in danger if you don't follow things like this. The next one is the main event. So these can include skill specific things or a game practice. This depends on things such as how many people you have, what sports and stuff like that, and also the goals of the student. You could also include fitness. Say if someone comes to you looking to be more fitter, then you could include this in the main task. This is what you do on the main event. It's just basically what you want to improve on. The next is going to be the cool down. So the cool down allows you to lower your heart rate and body temperature. This just calms the body down basically. This could consist of a light jog or a walk. It just allows the body to get rid of the waste product that was created as well. The next one is feedback. So as a coach, you need to be able to be giving your students feedback. This is really essential and important for a coach because the aim goal, the most thing you're going to be wanting to do is see an improvement and progression in the students. So making sure that you have constructive and effective feedback to them. Say if like you finish your hour session, you say to them, right, you need to start improving your fitness. So going for jogs or runs throughout the day, doing extra things at the gym, staying behind and practicing your shooting outside the session will allow you to see your student or athlete progress more effectively. So that's it for